friends, this is Anjali and welcome back to my channel. So today this video is gonna be 10 tips for beginners which are gonna help you to start reading. If you are someone who love reading but don't get enough time to read, or if you are someone who wants to read but you don't have perfect motivation to start reading, then this video is for sure for you. So subscribe to my channel and press the bell button to stay tuned and stay connected. So let's get started with the video. I started reading books by reading short stories. Short stories and comic books were my thing. I always used to buy one comic book in a month. We have a subscription of one comic book for every month, and I used to read that comic book, and then I moved forward and started reading short stories. I started reading short stories not in just English but also in Hindi. And when I started reading short stories book, I try to read more, and that's how I become a reader. That's how it's not just like कि एक दिन आप उठे and you are a reader. No, it's a journey. So always my first tip is gonna be always start from short stories and comic books. So the first short story book I'm gonna recommend you today is Soul, Stories of Your Life. It's written by Tridib Ghosh, and this book is amazing. This book have 12 short stories which are gonna keep you hooked up till you are reading whole book. It's very short book, it's just 101 pages book, and this book is amazing. This book have a lot of stuff. These stories are related from your real life. The best part of why I always recommend reading short stories for a beginner is that when you read a short story book, you don't need to finish a whole book to know the whole story, but you can just read 3 to 4 pages and you're gonna know a glimpse of that particular story. You don't need to finish a whole book. That's the reason I always recommend to read short stories book, because we always think like itna mota book kaun padhega to know one story, but if there's 12 stories in a book, then you can read them. And the stories in this book are so emotional, you can totally relate with them. These stories are taken from real life, and there will be a point when you start feeling like these stories are not fiction but they are taken from real life. All these 12 stories comes from author's personal life experience, and all these stories are author's personal perception towards the world, and these stories are really beautiful. And there is a story which is Ma, and that story is beautiful. I love that short story, and everyone should read short stories, I guess, because short stories I still read short stories. It's not like I just began from reading short stories. I still read a lot of short story books. I have a lot of short story books, but I am not going to recommend you all. I'm just going to recommend you 3 short story books for you. So this was all about this first book, which is Soul, Stories of Your Life. So next book I am going to recommend you is Yours Legally. It's written by Sonia. This book is a collection of like 6 stories, I guess, and all these stories are taken from her personal experience. She completed her graduation from LLB, and she don't have any like any family support in this law firm. She was totally new. This all stories are about a girl whose name is Sia, and Sia is really new to this law firm and to this this is a new field for her. Her family doesn't belong from this particular field, and so her parents didn't support her. Then also she continued her career towards law, and this is her story, this is her experience, that how she felt in every step. When she joined a law firm, she was working as an intern, and she was working under a very professional lawyer, and there are learnings which are taken from author's personal experience. And this book is totally amazing. If you are someone who is working in law firm, or who is anyhow related to like this like LLB or law firm, then you can read. Or if you are someone who wants to experience something new, then also you can go and check out this book. This book is an amazing read again, and I'm just gonna recommend you 3 books which are my favorite, and I'm just gonna recommend you 3 books, and you can understand why I'm recommending you all these 3 books, because I can personally relate to them. I never recommend book which I don't like or I don't personally relate to them. The last and the third book is Stories of Us. It's written by Bobby Sachdeva. Bobby Sachdeva is a businessman by profession, and he wrote some like 41 stories in this book, and all these stories are taken from our current life. Like when there was Notebandi, there's a story about an old lady. She was like what the problem she faced during Notebandi, and all these stories are really like you can also relate to them. they comes from real life. If you read them, sometimes you will feel like, okay, this maybe this can be a fiction, but no, all these stories are comes from real life, and all these stories are amazing. There's like the best part of short story books is that you don't need to consult dictionary all the time when you read. You can just the language is really easy. I find that the language is really easy in short story books. It's very basic English. If you have knowledge of English, you can read short story books. It's not a very big deal. That's the reason I recommend short stories. So this is again an amazing read. Add reading in your routine. Most of the time people tell me that they don't have enough time to read. They don't have like मेरे को time नहीं मिलता यार, मैं कहाँ से पढूं. Reading is not my kind of thing. People say like this, but no, when you add reading in your routine, then it's like you are taking bath really, you are eating, you are sleeping, you are doing everything. But once you add reading in your routine, you are never gonna say that I don't have enough time to read or I don't get time. So that excuse is gonna be out of your life कि मेरे पास time नहीं है यार. So that's not gonna happen. So add reading in your schedule, in your routine. And I personally recommend reading in morning when you wake up. That's the time when your mind is ready to grab a lot of information. Or before you go to evening, before you go to bed, you sleep, just give 30 minutes to reading in morning and evening. That's gonna be best. Next tip is goal setting. Set a goal that I will read 5 pages in a day. For a beginner, 5 pages are really good, and they're not more. You just need to like take out 10 to 15 minutes to read 5 pages. And if you set a goal that I'm gonna read 5 pages per day or one short story per day, that's gonna be best. Use bookmarks. The best part about using bookmarks is that when you use bookmarks, you are always going to remind कि अरे ये book तो इतना बचा हुआ है, I just completed this much book. Always use bookmarks. And sometimes we always excuse like, oh God, where I was reading, I just missed out. So when you put bookmark in your book, that's not going to be a reason like to delay your reading. So the fifth tip is start with what you love. And most of the people have asked me that how I can find what's my genre. What's the thing I love reading? How can I know that? The best thing is the movies you watch. If is there something like you like science fiction? Is there something you like fantasy? You like all that magical world and fairy tales? Then you should read fantasy books. If you are someone who love reading love stories or something like that, then you should go for love stories. If you love watching non-fiction or you love watching motivational speeches or motivational speakers, or you love reading about a particular person, then go for autobiographies. So this is how we find our genre. So once you have sorted out that what you like, go for that book, choose that genre and start reading. Once you start reading what you love, you're not going to put that book down anytime. I can bet you on that. You're not going to put that book anytime down because that's what you love. The sixth tip is challenge yourself. Always keep challenging yourself that today I will finish this many pages, and yesterday I finished 10 pages, now today I'm going to read 15 pages, or I'm going to finish this book today. When you start challenging yourself, that's the point. When you start challenging yourself, you are gonna love reading, you will fall in love with reading. And always maintain a shelf means that you don't need to have a particular bookshelf of like you invested 10,000 rupees in a bookshelf but you don't like reading. You don't need to do like that. You can just, if you have 3-4 books, keep them together. Always keep choices. Sometimes what happens that if I am someone who don't like reading fiction and I pick up a book which is from fiction genre, I'm not gonna love that book. I'm not gonna like, I don't wanna read more. But if you have choices, like if you are someone who like mythology, if you have choice in mythology, love story, fiction, non-fiction, then you can at least try something else. Like once you start reading something that you don't like, you're not gonna read anything again. But if you read like a right genre, then you are gonna fall in love. So that's how you become a reader and non-reader. I made a video that is 10 books under 100 rupees, and there are a lot of books which you can get under rupees like 40, 60, 80. There are a lot of books, so you can check out those books. Always have a wish list. That the best part of having a wish list is that you always have the next book ready. Once you finish this book, you have a next book which you always wanted to read. The last and final tip is always carry a book with yourself. If you get time 10 to 15 minutes in a day, you can just if you have break for like tea break, you can take a tea break for 10 to 15 minutes and you can read. Don't pressurize yourself for reading books. Read books because reading is gonna make your mind relax more, and always carrying a book is going to help you a lot. Or you get time with your busy schedule, you can just take out a book and read it for 10 to 15 minutes, and that's enough because you completed your goal. You achieved your goal of reading 20 pages. That's how we work, and that's how we read our work. We also have a lot of work, but we dedicate our time towards reading, and we always have a fixed routine for reading. We always have like 1 to 2 hours for reading. I read 6 to 7 hours. We read for pleasure. We read for learning new things. We read like books comes with a lot of teaching. Books can teach you things which teacher never taught us, and that's why I love reading books, because I get a lot of knowledge and I know a lot of things. I'm not saying that I'm perfect or I have a lot of knowledge, but yes, I know about particular topics and I have proper knowledge about them. So this was all about 10 tips which I want to give a beginner or someone who wants to start reading but they are not getting enough time or they are not getting enough motivation to read. And this was all tips are from my personal experience, that why I started reading and what motivates me. And yeah, I just want to take a moment and thank you every single person that who subscribed to my channel, who put their trust on my channel and me. I'm really new to YouTube, but yesterday I completed 500 subscribers, and that's a great thing for me. I know many of you might be thinking that it's a very small number, but no, 500 for me is very big thing, because 500 people are putting their trust on me, on my channel, and that's so great. I can't even express how good I'm feeling, how happy I am. So thank you so much, and always keep supporting me. Subscribe to my channel, press the bell button to stay tuned and stay connected. So bye bye, stay safe, stay home, stay healthy.